the one? Is he really out there? What if I'm just going to be disappointed? What if I want too much? And what if I told you, actually, every man you met was the one for you? Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome to my love diary, my reflections on love, on dating as a young lady with an old school heart, becoming a wife in the 21st century. I started dating for the very first time in my life earlier this year, and I want to share with you my lessons so you can put yourself out there and enjoy dating and open yourself up for all the blessings the divine is channeling through those men to you. So this is not dating advice, this is just a reminder. Date number 1. The one who showed me how I get to feel with a healthy man. Has that ever happened to you? You like a guy and he likes you. Like you can tell like their smiles, you can look into each other's eyes, maybe you talk a little bit, and then weeks pass by, months pass by, and it never really goes anywhere. And then there's this moment where you're like, well, I don't want that anymore. You make a cut and you focus back on yourself. Have you ever noticed that your energy actually increased after that? This is how I felt with, honestly, every something I had back in my high school years. And I really wondered, like, now I know why this is so. It's because men actually, your beautiful feminine energy, they get a lot from just seeing you, looking at you, talking to you. When you think about him, that's also energy, so he gets a lot of energy from you. But when he's not providing like something in a way, it's imbalanced, and that's where like this lack of energy comes from when you like a guy, or when you've been on a date with someone and you feel like very exhausted. Do you know that? Has it ever happened to you? So with this man, I experienced the opposite, and he really is the standard now. So I came back after the date, I sat down on my bed, and I was like, okay, something is weird. And then I thought about it, I'm like, wait, but that was like a nice date, he was kind, everything's fine, like what's going on? And then it hit me. I noticed that I had the exact same amount of energy that I had before I left my room. So I spent 2 hours with a stranger. I'm introvert. You know. In the city. And normally I'm very sensitive. Like when I'm in the city, I'm just afterwards, even when I'm in the city with my family, I'm a little exhausted after it. So, stranger in the city, I had the same energy. And my mind was blown. That has never happened to me before. And he really poured into me. I don't know what he did, but now I know how it gets to feel like to be with a man that's healthy. And I really don't know what exactly he did, but just for you to know, when you're with a healthy man, how do you feel after the date? Do you feel energized and calm? Like, can you breathe deep into your belly? Can you flirt with him? Or I feel like a little exhausted, and is your gut like a little like crampy? Honestly, that's all you need to know. So date number 1, I'm so lucky that he was the first one. He really set the standard for how I get to feel with a man. And he still is the standard for this. Date number 2. The one who made me feel beautiful. So this man I manifested because I wanted to meet someone outside of dating apps. All the other men I met through dating apps. And we met in the city on the streets. And he was kind. And something that really hit me. It was very sweet. Towards the end of the date, he looked at me and he said, "Don't forget, you are beautiful." And I was like, "Oh yeah, well, thank you." Like, receiving the compliment. And he said it again. "You are beautiful." And I was like, oh my god, okay. I was like nearly crying. I thought that I feel beautiful and that I'm pretty confident in myself. But for whatever reason, that hit something like very deeply in my gut. And even though I didn't want to see him again for whatever reason, like that was also gut feeling. I didn't really felt a connection, but he was the one who reminded me. And it was not a compliment. It was, "I want you to see and feel how beautiful you are." And that was very magical. And I'm very grateful for this man. The third one, the one who showed me how good I felt with the first one. So the third one I also met through online dating apps, and I had nothing on my profile, and he still reached out to me. That was just my name and my age. And we somehow ended up on a date. I was just not ready, like I was just new on the platform, so I had zero information. I didn't even have like a photo. We ended up on a date, and I learned, set up your dating profiles with intention. We weren't a good match. We really had a very different preference and polarity, right? I'm more traditional. I like if the man is more like leading and structure and disciplined and organizing. And he didn't even plan a date. He didn't know what we could do. And with him, I couldn't breathe into my belly. And I actually had like, for 3 days in a row, I had such like a crampy belly. And that was really great to just feel the difference with the first man, where I was so relaxed in my body, and with the other one I just felt so crampy. And yeah, what I learned, online dating is great if you know how to use it. So I can just recommend and share with you that the photos you have, the text you write about yourself, like really invest in that. I invested in a couple of courses to learn how to use dating apps, and it really saved me, because it's like marketing. You really want to put up your profile in a way that appeals to the man that you want, and you're a match for, obviously. You don't want to go wide. I don't think that it's a compliment when you have a lot of men reaching out to you. It's more like quality. And because you're a beautiful woman, a lot of men will reach out to you. So it's good to have like a filter system, and just how you set up your profile really helps to filter out those men. And after that, all the other men were a good match, like way better than him. So that's what I learned from man number 3. Date number 4. The one who showed me how valuable I am. So date number 4 was very persistent, and honestly, I learned so much. It's crazy. It's ridiculous even. Wait. I want to count it. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wrote a whole 10 pages with what I learned about myself because of him. So, he was the first man who ever met my basic requirements, like my basic values. I do have, I think 6 now. Yeah. 6 criteria based on values that help me navigate dating. And usually I end things when there's just misalignment in like the most basic values, like marriage is one of them, for example. And I manifested this guy because I was like, well, will anyone ever meet my values? And he was the one who met them. And as I said, he was the most persistent and he was very into me. So he showed me, first of all, the man I'm looking for exists. And I'm actually a good match for it. Right? Because when you go on dates and you meet a man that match what you're looking for, but then they're not really into you, it doesn't really make sense to move forward. So when they're not into me, I can see, okay, is there something like I want to like tweak a little bit about myself? Like, can I grow into becoming the woman that they're looking for? Or like, do I actually feel great the way I am and he's just not the one that I need? So that was very valuable information that the man that I'm looking for actually is looking for me too. That was one thing. And because of him, he showed me how much I have to give. Because he was so masculine and working like crazy amounts of hours. Like just, I don't know, just me enjoying my food, brushing my hair, doing my nails, or talking about things that I'm passionate about, I could just see how much that would light him up. And I didn't know that just by being, I can give so much to a man what he's craving because he doesn't have that in his life. And that was a very interesting experience for me. I'm very grateful for this. He also taught me to have stronger boundaries of texting. And I have a whole video about it, why I don't, or barely, actually, I barely text in early stages of dating. I can link that here. That's the first episode of this series. And it was long distance with him. And like weeks passed by and we wouldn't see each other regularly. And he really showed me that I now give a man 2 weeks. If there is no date happening within 2 weeks, no matter how long we've known each other, it's a cut. Like, he really showed me how valuable my time is and that I need to make a cut when things are not moving forward because I don't bond through texting or through having phone calls. But as I said, like, there's a whole episode around this, so I don't want to go deep into detail in that. However, he also showed me, as I said, I learned ridiculously much. One thing I also want to share is no man will ever be too busy for me. I think there are only 2 reasons when a man is too busy for you. He's either not in the season to actually, get married and just build a relationship because he's just working so much, or he doesn't like you that much. Like, you're not the one woman for him. And either way, he's just not the one you're going to spend your life with. Because this man worked like 70 hours a week and he still drove to me 6 hours just to go on a date with me. And he had like 24-hour shifts, and after 24-hour shifts, he still drove to me. And I actually asked him, I'm like, well, aren't you like too busy? Like, this is crazy, man. And he looked at me like that. I'm like, oh, so you're never too busy for me? And he's like, so it has never happened to me that a man said he's too busy, But because of this man, I know in the future that, well, then you just don't like me enough. That's something I learned. Okay, what else did I learn? Date number 5, the one that showed me who's not my type. That was a very funny story. He was definitely not my type. Like, he was very artsy and he ended up reading his poems to me. And I'm like, I'm an artist, I'm a musician. Yeah, I love hearing those things. But he wouldn't stop. I was like, well, when are you finished? Like, so I also learned from this man, when you have a weird feeling when you're texting, that was also through online dating apps, it's right. Trust that. Like, if it's weird when you text, yeah, it was weird in person too. He was definitely moving way too fast, and it just felt a little off. Oh, he also actually helped me to see how good the other men were with texting. Um, like, just with consistency. So all the men before him reached out to me after the date, like usually at the same day. And he, I mean, I was not interested in him, obviously. However, he actually texted me, like reached out again to me after a week. And I was like, boy, even if I liked you, if it took you a week to reach out to me, huh? And because of that, it made me realize how good the other men were. Like, they always reach out to me right after the date. And I didn't really appreciated it that much. I was like, well, we just saw each other. Like, why are you texting me again? um, but no, I truly appreciate. I really love um, when men show you that they're interested. So this man was definitely for a very funny story. It was interesting. And the last man that I dated, he was the one who really calmed me down. And actually, he was so slow and so calm that I was getting a little bit concerned. It was like when we were crossing the streets, I was like, oh my god, I don't want a car to hit him. I was like, oh my god, this is not what I want. I like it when a man like slows me down and I like feel relaxed with him, but that was too much. Like, I also need like a man who's like pushing things like forward. So when he's like too calm, I have to worry about him. I have to watch out for him. And this is not really the dynamic I truly like. Yes, so those are like the 6 men I dated this year. I am having a little break right now because I have my first job after I finished college earlier this year. And I'm like still like figuring out how to live this new kind of lifestyle as an employee. That's very new for me, so I'm not dating currently. But here's one thing that I want to leave you with. Are you dating? Well, do you want to date? What are you afraid of? And I want you to ask yourself, like, truly, give it a chance, okay? What would you gain? What if every man you meet is the one you need in that moment? Because there are so many men out there that want to admire you. I guarantee you. And it's such a healing experience to be around men. And there are things I could only learn from actually putting myself out there. And I know, It's fun to read books. It's so much fun to watch all those like relationships videos, to invest in courses. There is a point where you really just get yourself out there, because then you can truly learn those little things. Like one thing I learned, little bonus, I like to walk inside of the streets. And some men, I always told them like, I don't think that that I have to figure everything out. Like I can share with you what I need, what my preferences are. So I shared that with him, with all the men, and some of the men, they forgot every time, and other men, they remembered. Like they always took care of me. And actually, one time, I was like not walking inside of the streets, and I was like, okay, that's it's not a big deal. And then this one man like grabbed me and put me into my place. It's like, no, you said you want to walk inside of the streets, so you're walking inside of the streets. And I was like, I didn't know that this is a test, but you approved, man. You approved. So those like little things, that's something you will only learn when you go on dates. And you totally got this. You're a gorgeous woman and you deserve to be loved. And every man that you meet helps you to get to know yourself better. Yeah, that way. So that honestly you can become the one. And remember, fairy tales need role models too. So why not us? Bye. I want to be the